It started after the storm. Not the one that took the fishing boat, but the one that broke me. I was the keeper then, alone in that tower watching the waves turn into monsters. I saw the lights of the Marianne, too close to the rocks. My job was the light, to warn them. But the fog rolled in thick, and something else was in the tower with me that night. A cold dread, a whisper that wasn't the wind. It told me to wait. Just a moment. The storm was too bad anyway. They wouldn't make it. I waited, just a few minutes. The light stayed dark. Then silence. The storm passed. The Marianne was gone. I left the service. Couldn't stand the sight of the sea. But the guilt followed me. It clung to me like the damp sea air. Years later, I came back. The lighthouse was empty now, just stone and silence. I thought facing it would help. It didn't. The silence wasn't empty. It was full of echoes, not sound, but feeling. Cold, wet, scared feelings. At night, the light would flicker on its own. A weak, ghostly pulse. Not the strong beam it once was. It was like the tower remembered what I did, what I didn't do. Then I started seeing things, in the fog that sometimes wrapped around the base, shapes moving. At first I told myself it was just the mist playing tricks. My eyes were old, my mind was tired. But the shapes became clearer, like figures huddled together, looking up at the tower. Their faces were pale, their clothes were soaked. They looked lost, and they looked angry. They were the crew of the Marianne, standing there night after night, waiting. The whisper came back too, not from outside, from inside the tower, from the stone walls themselves. It was the same voice, cold, coaxing, telling me it wasn't my fault. The storm was too strong. But the figures outside would shake their heads, their silent mouths forming words I couldn't hear. Words like "why" and "you could have." The light would pulse faster then, like a frantic heartbeat. The air would grow colder. I tried to leave, pack my bags, get in my car. But the road felt wrong, like it led back to the tower no matter which way I turned. I couldn't sleep. The figures were always there. The whisper was always there. The pulsing light was always there. One night, the whisper changed. It didn't say it wasn't my fault anymore. It said, "Come up, see for yourself." See what? The top of the tower held only the lamp room, empty now. But the figures outside seemed to urge me on, their pale hands reaching slightly, not invitingly, demanding. I started to climb the spiral stairs. Each step creaked. The air got colder the higher I went. The whisper grew louder. It wasn't just in my head now, it was all around me. I reached the top. The lamp room was dark, empty, just the big dusty lens. But reflected in the glass, I saw them. The crew of the Marianne, not outside anymore. They were in the room with me. Their eyes were empty. Their skin was gray. They didn't speak. They just looked at me. And behind them, reflected in the lens, was another figure, taller, shadowy, with eyes that glowed faintly red. It was the source of the whisper, the thing that told me to wait that night. It smiled, a slow, terrible smile. The whisper spoke one last time, not to me, to the figures of the crew. He waited, it hissed. He chose. The crew surged forward, not touching me, but passing through me, a wave of icy despair, of drowning terror. I felt the cold water, the panic, the final gasping breath. Then I was standing alone in the lamp room again. The reflections were gone, the whisper was gone. But the cold remained, and the dampness, and the feeling of being utterly lost at sea. I looked down at my hands. They were gray, translucent. I hadn't come back to the lighthouse to face my guilt. I had been guided back. Because I never left. The storm took more than just the Marianne that night. If this story gave you chills, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more terrifying tales.